Okay.
Well,
You're going live?
We're live here.
we're going to be disconnecting from Amazon sooner or later. And
Okay, little one. Okay, we're the usual jumping in a little bit early to let people jump on.
when people start showing up, let me know so I can yell, hi.
We've got one person, no, zero, sorry. That's bad eyes. There was one person waiting in queue, so to speak. One person is now up.
Oh, the Monday night thing, will probably take a little bit.
No, it'll take a little bit to see, but we told everyone last week, and there's been a few people.
Well, and it
this
was
week.
Easter yesterday, so it probably was worked out.
Well, they've
good
got all
to
that
go to
chocolate
Monday.
hangover going
Yeah,
on.
it's probably worked good to go to Monday.
Who was it that said something about chocolate? No, it was a politician or a rich person. I think it was like the premier of
It was
Quebec.
the premier of Quebec or somebody
Yeah.
that was saying, we may not be having a normal Easter time anytime soon, but we can still buy chocolate. It's like-
Did you see up in Canada where they're
so they
harassing?
went and tried to
Yeah.
arrest a freaking priest.
Yeah, okay,
in New
we're
York.
we're live,
UK,
folks.
they did.
We don't want to get kicked
Yeah.
off YouTube
Yeah, let's not
at
do
this
that
point.
yet.
We're still working on researching alternatives so that we won't have to count on any one platform. Anyhow, while we wait for people to show up here and everything, give you a little rundown of the week. First of all, I have the plans now. And did some fishing. Eva, hey Rick, how's it going? And
Hey, Rick.
Eva found a real good recipe she likes for the trout. She takes Beaver brand tartar sauce and mixes it 2-to-1 with Kraft Velveeta cheese sauce and puts that on the fish. She really seems to like that a lot.
But I'm on a diet again, guys. I've been inhaling tartar sauce lately, and this is not good. Oh,
Hey,
show
Terry.
me your bear when everybody gets here.
Did that volcano just start to erupt? This is the one that's been erupting for a week or two, or is it something dramatic increase there? Anyhow, so got the plans done, got some samples taken. As you probably saw the video, went to the super secret location. Everything's doing well here. The super secret location I couldn't show you because there's something so distinctive about it that anyone who's seen it will be able to instantly identify it. So I had to wait to decide if are we going to stake this or not. Either way, theoretically in the future, it won't matter a whole lot. Another one, huh? Hey, little one, why don't you check up another volcano in Iceland erupting?
I heard California had an earthquake about 6-8 hours ago too.
Yeah, they have earthquakes. How big was it?
4.0, I think.
Yeah, that's nothing. They have that for lunch. But anyhow,
Scramble to evacuate as new fissure opens up at Icelandic volcano.
what
Wow.
are they evacuating?
This could be the beginning of the second stage. They are in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Reykjavik,
Lava spurted Monday from a new fissure in an Icelandic volcano that began erupting last month, prompting the evacuation of hundreds of hikers who had come up to see the spectacle. The new fissure, first spotted by a sightseeing helicopter, was about 500 meters long and around a half a mile from the original eruption site in the Geldinga Valley.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little more complicated sounding than that. But yeah. Okay, cool, Terry. Yeah, I knew
It's
that.
not expected to affect the airport.
A little too much there.
I'm just playing
Try the
with
overhead and see what happens.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That might be better.
Turn on the kitchen light. That's
No,
not
it was
much.
reflecting off the
Hi,
board.
Mr. Lodak.
It was putting a big white light across the board.
Hi, Mr. Lodak.
And so anyhow, I took samples. We're running into so many possibilities. This one, we didn't have any historical data on. It just happened to be really close to something else we were looking at. So I took some samples and we'll see what they come up with because there was no historical data per se. The structure on that was really consistent. we're talking almost a steady 2 to 4 feet, 3 foot average, horizontal. Okay. So,
Blanket vein
Wow,
this way.
this
Yeah.
looks really cool.
That could be interesting.
and so anyhow, once we get some assays back and make a decision on that, I should be able to put up the video I took actually at the mine site there. It's an interesting conundrum how to balance confidentiality and information at the same time.
Hey,
So,
Gold Panner.
hey, Gold
Thanks for
Panner.
coming.
So,
Hey there.
say we're already up to 8. We're getting our usual crowd at about the usual speed, so to speak. Weather here has been interesting. Eva likes weather as opposed to climate. Now in Tucson, you have weather too. You have hot and damn hot. Here it was over 70 degrees yesterday.
74 yesterday
This
afternoon.
morning we wake up, it's snowing pretty good. You know?
It's white.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate it. So it was kind of funny how it changes so rapidly here.
Well, this time of the year,
Yep.
it can be anything.
So that was kind of cool. Let's see. We went down to what's the dam down there? Hauser Dam.
Okay.
And tried the same bait I'm using over here in the lake. No joy.
It wasn't happening.
No, wasn't happening. No joy at all. So anyhow, that's aside from that, it was mainly working on the plans, and I'll just kind of show you now these plans here. What I did was I took these plastic inserts like this, and therefore I can change something and just reload the insert and stuff. When I'm finally done with everything, then I'll go ahead and make a master set of copies. And the basic idea, I may have to get a little more room here, is to have diagram on one side, instructions on the other, and then just kind of work all the way to the back. You know, that's what it looks like on the outside. That's what it looks like on the inside. You can see the detail that I had to go through. And needless to say, I made more than one mistake that then had to be corrected. And so it took me quite a while to get it done to my to where I was happy with it, you know. So hello, Sheikh Saeed. Watching guys in Somaliland, huh?
Cool.
Well, thank you,
Thanks
sir.
for being
If you have
here.
any specific questions, go ahead and ask them. That's
Yeah, put them on tonight.
the questions usually get the conversation going better than anything. So anyhow, I got the plans now, and I've got a couple of people that were interested. I know Kevin was one, and here, yeah, and then Rick. So I should be able to theoretically get those out this week here, if you want a set of plans. Right now, the price is $100 for a set of plans. We'll email back and forth a little bit, and I'll have you agree to basically a non-disclosure agreement sort of thing. And that allows you to build one unit for yourself. Any additional unit you want to build, either for yourself or somebody else, will be $50. And right now, kind of have to rely on an honor system, but eventually I'll be getting nameplates, and I'll send you nameplates for each of those things, and that way it'll be an officially authorized duplicate. But if Jimmy, if you're watching, hey David. If you're not, I'll be calling you probably tomorrow, and talking to you about, you said you wanted one of these units, and Jim here thinks he's got the resources lined up to where we could put one together in terms of
cut one
a shop and, you know, things like that. Because we'll need you got a 220 MIG welder lined up?
I do out here, just
Okay.
out of town out here.
Okay, so a 220
So I
MIG
think
welder
we
would
could-
be perfect.
I think we could fabricate it fairly fast.
Yeah, I think if we just kicked ass on it. Do we have a fab table with like a 90-degree edge or anything?
I do believe he's got a full welding table out there.
Okay.
So,
We could always, you know, clamp a piece of.
well, I've got 90-degree magnets and everything too. So I mean,
Yeah,
we
but
can.
certain of those things are a little
Well, right.
hard
You
for a
want
magnet
to
to
you
hold.
want to clamp it.
You
hold
really
it,
want to
but
clamp it.
we should be able to fabricate it. I don't see an issue going through the
Yeah.
plan the way you've drawn it and described it.
Yeah.
It's real simple, just step by step.
Well, and that's what I tried to do, because to me, the biggest enemy is confusion.
Exactly.
And so, as somebody once said, most people write to be understood. Technical writing has to be written so it cannot be misunderstood.
Right.
And that's what I had to do. You came up with a few little corrections and improvements.
Very minor things though,
Yep.
just so that it isn't confusing. That, you know, if
Oh,
there was
and-
anything in there that I did, it was just make a reference, you know.
And the other thing that was very important was you had a printer you weren't using
Well, yeah, that helped.
that he's loaned me over here so I could actually print these things up. And my thought was I could just print it on plain paper, double-sided copies and stuff, and then wherever it goes to, if you just buy these
Blank,
plastic
generic folder.
pockets for a 3-ring binder and then slide them in there, that would work well. If you want to do it really nice and really durable, then have it laminated and punched. And that way it's, you know, you could spill oil on it or anything
Yeah.
like that and it wouldn't hurt anything.
Yeah, fingerprints on it.
So I'd say that's what I like to do for my shop stuff.
Yep.
Since this is, I'm still,
No, I
fiddling
agree
with it.
because if you have it out in the shop, you're going to get it dirty.
you're going to get oil on
Yeah.
it. You're going to get dirt on it. You
Well,
want to be able to wipe it off.
Yep. If they're
Absolutely.
clean with steel, you just turn black
Yeah, it's amazing.
real fast.
And you know, the new steel has that oil coating on it.
Yep.
Even when you wipe it off, there's still some there. Yep.
Residue. No, you turn black.
Yep. So anyhow, but so I say Jimmy was interested in maybe getting one, so we'll be talking to Jimmy here. Say if he's not here tonight, then we'll do it tomorrow. I'll give him a jingle and see if he's still interested in that, and we'll get on it. And this one, the one I've already got, I started as a 4-inch chamber, and then I expanded it to a 6-inch chamber. It's hard to remember where the camera is. And the next one I want to build has an 8-inch chamber. And that way we'll have higher productivity. I mean, I've already got a 6-inch chamber. I know what it does. This plan here actually has a slightly larger exhaust opening than what I have on that other one. The other one is like 3
by 3 or something.
3 1/4 by 3 or something like that. And this says like a 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 actual opening.
That shouldn't change much.
Yeah. So that should do it. I say there's a lot of changes to this compared to what I built the first time, simply because there was a weakness or
Right.
something
Well,
like that.
Yeah, you're fixing the issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The exhaust stack, I kind of fabricated out of pieces of 1/4-inch plate I cut so that I could slide something on the top. And I found out the dirt just shoots out from those little gaps, because to slide it in. And so that's why I put that ring on there. This one is you have it slide inside with a ring on the outside. And that, first of all, doesn't give it a nice straight shoot, but also the best way was just a piece of duct tape around the darn
Sure.
thing.
Well, yeah.
So it's perfect. So it may sound a little funny, as duct tape is actually a part of your impact mill. But whatever frickin' works. It works good for the gasket too on the cover.
Yep.
It really did. It worked great. And No
keep
problem.
rolls
Duct
just
Hey,
for
Dirty Goat.
everything. It's-
Duct tape works great on everything except ducks.
Actually, it works okay on ducks, but so
Rice.
say that should be interesting to do there. I say it'd be nice if Jimmy gives us a go ahead on that. And not sure when I'll be getting out in the field because again it's snowing again now. But what the heck?
Wait another week. 2 weeks.
May get to move a radio station.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my principal is involved with the radio station in some way, and they're going to be shifting it. And so I said, "You want to help move a radio station?" It's like,
I'd be
sure.
open for that.
why not?
Why not?
And so let's see. Then there's that job you had lined
we
up.
got a roofing job coming up
Yeah,
here
be a
soon.
day or two there. So
And then I saw Hobby Lobby was hiring, and I don't have a car. I'm so bummed.
so and then we got one more possible. I got one target in Powell County that showed up as a possibility. It's in the general Ellensburg area, so that's not too far from here.
Elliston.
Elliston,
Just over the top.
yeah, just over
the other side.
Yeah, just over the top
Elliston's
there.
got some interesting
So that's not a
up there above there.
big distance. We might go look over there, get some samples. And again, it's one of those things that the information looked relatively interesting, but I'm not sure exactly what's there, and it's probably overstaked by placer claims right now. Now that doesn't mean we can't stake load underneath it,
Right.
but I like to make sure there's something.
There's
showing
some
first.
areas have a lot of claims, plaster, whatever. Some don't. So you get in there and realize that, hey, this is open.
Well, this particular one isn't. There's one major drainage, and there's at least 3 placer claims in that quarter section, and that's where the drainage goes through. And it's like this is like 100 feet off the drainage. It's like I know what's going on here.
Yeah, you might be able to overstake.
You can
and have
understand.
part of it.
Yeah, as the difficult thing in staking load under placer is that you have to have a legitimate discovery, which can be difficult when somebody owns the surface rights. If you got a tunnel there, you can go under the surface,
right,
and do that. Actually, right now I have historical information that would lead a prudent person to believe you might be able to extract it a profit. So that would be good enough anyhow.
Yeah.
So basically, I don't see any legal impediments to staking the claim. Just have to see whether or not he wants to do it.
Well, right, or go post some, get a sample if you can, or
Yeah.
whatever, and look at it.
'Cause
See
we
if
still
it's
got-
something you're interested in.
Another 2 or 3 yonder to do once the weather clears up. And we may get another couple just around Montana B just to cover the territory a little more
Give you some
thoroughly.
ground.
So we have a number of things to do. I personally don't care as long as I get paid. I'm perfectly
I got
happy
some
to do
targets I want to get to, but there's still 3 feet of snow on top of them, so
Yep.
can't get there yet. 3 more weeks.
this. Okay, they want to see your shirt,
Sure.
Jim.
Oh, that was a gift at Christmas time.
So anyhow, that's I said I got plenty to do, no problem at all. Not sure. I do want to make a staking video because the methodology that I've worked out works pretty well. First of all, in this area, you're supposed to use a 5-foot long 4x4.
Correct.
Okay. And what I like to do with my stakes is drill a 1/2-inch hole in the bottom and have some 1-inch rebar.
Pound the rebar
1
into
foot
the
long,
rock.
1/2-inch
Yep.
rebar. And that way, a lot of times it's pretty difficult.
Some of them I ran the rebar up probably 2 feet into.
Yeah.
I had a long bit though, so I took it.
Yeah.
But that way, you're driving a rebar into the rock will follow the rock through, and then the post will stand on it. Otherwise, you can't dig a post hole.
No.
And your alternative is you can pile rocks around it, but that means it's going to take you 20 minutes to find enough rocks to
least.
pile around it,
And
depending on where you're at.
Oh yeah, some places you can't
places
find many big
Some
rocks.
places you can't.
So Are you planning on cuddling on those claims?
Stupid autocorrect tunneling.
Tunneling. Do not know. Certain of the claims already have tunnels on them. The one that you saw where the truck was parked the other day in that video, you could easily start a tunnel right there, because you've got 6-7 feet of basic structure with 2 to 4 feet of mineralized quartz in it. If the grade was good enough, you could easily just start tunneling right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's some permitting issues, and the current price of gold versus the grade that showed up on the assays, it's not indicated to start operating at this time at that location.
But if you keep working that spot, keep along there somewhere, you never know.
You could hit a hot spot, definitely, but as I say, it has to do with the price also, but also the permitting, etc.
Mm-hmm.
It's not invisible. It's kind of nice to have a place out in the middle of nowhere. This one isn't.
Well,
you
could pretty much do a tunnel. You're just going to have to put it, the entrance on the adit and put a gate immediately on it so that you can start to protect.
Well, what I'm saying is, first you'll have to have a plan of operations,
right? In the permitting,
This place currently doesn't even allow vehicular access. Okay, and so that's what I'm saying. It's not with this current administration.
It could be an issue.
How easy do you think it's going to be?
I checked on a placer the other day, and the Forest Service told me it'd take 3 years to permit it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not good.
And that's the issue we're looking at virtually everywhere. If we can't keep it underneath the no significant disturbance limit, I don't think you're going to get anything done recently. Hey, Chris. Yeah, I don't think that this current administration is going to permit anything. So you're going to have to work underneath the permits.
Well, there has been pressure here in Montana to let some of this stuff happen, and that could be the best part of being here right now. Is our governor and people are behind they push the Forest Service for some logging and some things to happen.
Well, we shall see. I think,
we don't know.
The next
political environment's not good.
The next year is going to be very, very interesting, and maybe that'll help out. I'm not real sanguine about, say, the opportunities of getting any kind of permits over the next year or two. After that, I think all bets are open. I mean, I have no idea what's going to be happening 2 years from now. Okay, everything else seems to be nobody else is complaining about it.
I didn't say it was awesome in Montana. I'm just saying that at least we may have a chance as guys that have pieces of ground that we want to try to work.
I say so.
It's hard to say.
It is awesome in Montana as long as you like Montana.
Yeah. You're right, Gold Panner. I mean, right now at least we got some level of reality yet here, but we'll see how that plays out.
I'd say it's one of those situations where this is really unusual times, so predictability is not like oh dear, that's not good, Chris. So the transformer and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so a lot of this stuff we're staking is with thoughts more to the future than the immediate future. We shall just see. Some of the stuff we intend to stake once we can get to it is potentially immediately utilizable. We'll see. And then Gene from Bozeman also has a mine that historically looks very good, and therefore we might be able to do something there fairly quickly. If we work out a deal with him, he seems to be quite reasonable. But we'll have to see what the situation is. That is also another one that's definitely not going to be invisible.
Well,
it's right on the road to the ranger station.
But, first you have to have something that's worth going after to say, I'm going to put a bond on it and do the plan of operations. And until you've done your prospecting and some analyzing of rock and figured out if there's something worth going after. I mean,
we got lots
historical
to do
perspective, a lot of things enter into it, but.
Well, also we have access to at least one patented claim within a 10-mile radius of where we're looking at stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we could theoretically, if you mine stuff underground,
mm-hmm.
put it in a truck, haul it to the patented claim, which also has water, and process it there, then it's potentially perfectly doable.
Dump truck, whatever.
Well, I'm thinking mainly buckets right now.
Well, right, you got it right. You start at a level that you can process,
and then
if it's good enough, you start building on that process.
And then
stream. But,
my thought would be this summer, if we get a mine working at a 1 or 2 ton a week level,
mm-hmm.
but where the extraction is going well, all the numbers are crunching, the ore body appears to be there in sufficient quantity,
right?
Then over the winter we could deal with getting the equipment lined up
to go a step bigger,
two steps to escalate. Exactly.
No, you want to find the economic value before you decide on a 100 ton a day operation. You can't put the cart before the horse. Algeria, Ken Hensley.
I don't know about gunite stuff for backfill. We'll have to see. Maybe timbering and then fill it between the timbers sort of thing is one thing I was thinking, especially in Montana B. If we were to just crib up to the back and then fill between the, inside the crib with cemented fill, I think that would work pretty well. If we wanted to do that, to say provide ground support while we then tore out other stuff, because there's some really nice stuff, but it looks to me like they left what they left because they didn't want the top to fall in.
Uh-huh.
And so we might have to put some alternative ground support first. I'm not sure.
Something you have to worry about.
You could stole it up if you got enough stoles in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, because we're only talking 20 feet below surface.
You're shallow.
So it's we're not
a lot of weight. You don't have the weight.
Yeah, we don't have. Gunite is also called shotcrete, Terry. It's basically a fine-grained concrete that you spray out of a gun, and it sticks to the surface, and then it hardens into a real concrete.
And you can build it up to depending on what you want for support.
And you can also
put fiber mesh in,
bolt steel mesh to the rock first, and then you put that on top of it.
It's like stuccoing, except on a little bigger scale.
Yeah. And so it definitely has its uses. It helps hold things together pretty well. I'm not sure how well it supports large roof loads.
Well, no, you end up with bolting or, like you say, timbering. You have to.
That is an awesome hanging wall at Montana B.
Oh yeah.
We're talking a 4 to 5 foot thick quartzite layer that's just solid as a rock.
Cool.
You got spans right now that are 30, 40 feet across with no signs of any failures. No sprawling, no nothing.
Yeah.
It is just tough. And so I say it may just be stoling is all we need. I have to do some research to figure out what appears to be a safe way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But also have to do more research in terms of a lot more samples to make sure that everything that we can access appears to be valuable, so that we can kind of interpolate between and say, okay, well, between here and there, we can take this out. Another thing we could do too is theoretically if we went in there and took like room and pillar mining, you take, you drive tunnels on a grid work.
Yeah.
And then, you put up some stoles, and the actual layer is only about this thick. Okay. You're looking at a foot or so of, some pretty good stuff. And then if you go in and just blast it, remove that, and then form up and then pour concrete under there, and then move to the next pillar, so that the pillars themselves, because you're only taking out this much of the pillar. Well, you can use that much for support still. What the hell? So, yeah, Chris, in this case, in Montana B, the roof load spreading is not a problem. It's like reinforced concrete up there. It's really good.
So how are the ribs and stuff then where you're taking out? Or the sides pretty stable too? Well, the one wall would be, I suppose. But
everything there seems to be in pretty good shape.
Oh yeah, all that rock is happy, guys.
But the main structure is at 60 degrees.
Yeah.
And they basically mine to the hanging wall. But it looks to me they were mining just above the foot wall is what they were really going for. And so they were just mining the hanging wall because it's a good solid hanging wall. If you're going to do 4 feet and get a good solid hanging wall, you want the best hanging wall you can. That's my assumption. They go, well, we're going to mine about, this works
go
pretty
to there
good.
and work that way. Huh?
Yeah.
All that rock in there is really happy except for one big guy. And I don't even want Bear to take out that one big guy who's unhappy. I want to take him out.
Yeah, well,
Some of them,
I want to do it by remote control.
Yeah.
Wire
it and leave.
Exactly.
Push the button.
Either that or an expanding grout might work okay. I forget. It has a crack holding it on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
you can
thinking expanding
possibly
grout.
I don't know.
fill the crap.
If it's too scary, I don't like to even get too close to them because they're wrong.
You can stay above it.
Oh, then you'd be all right.
Yeah, you can stay above
Stay
it.
away from it.
It's basically there's a thing like this, and it's the triangle that's unstable.
Starting to let
So you can work from above it,
push it out.
do what you need, and then drop it below you without any problem. Really long scaling. I don't even know if you'd need a really long scale. Again, if you're roped in above it and just let it go, I mean, it goes away from you.
Where's it go to though? Down and take out everything.
No, it's just going to land in the bottom of a drift.
Okay.
It's kind of at the corner of a stope there. Then the perpendicular vein, it's vertical. The vein itself doesn't have the integrity that the other area does, especially the hanging wall. But all the strata in this area is pretty competent rock in general.
Yeah, most of the mines I've been in have been, believe it or not, I mean, the few bad spots you see are exactly where the old timbers are maybe still there or rotted out. And you can see why they did what they did. It's obvious, that it was definitely bad ground.
The one spot I really don't like is on the 40-foot level at the bridge at Moria. There's about 6 to 12 inches of the right wall that's coming off. And I have to look at that real carefully. But the only way to get that safely that I can think of is to go up higher in the decline there and work scaling bar, knock this stuff off, and then build platform across there as you go, just to get the scaling bars and be above it.
Yeah.
But building a platform there shouldn't be hard because, again, it's only 4 feet wide. You can socket both sides, drop the timber, and wedge it, and just work your way out.
Yeah.
So,
scaffold it.
Oh yeah, Chris, this. For hanging wall, I literally have never seen any better hanging wall. This is just, it's flat, it's smooth, it's hard, it's tough. It's just great stuff. It's just like a 4 to 5 foot thick metaquartzite without fractures in it. It's like, this is awesome. This looks like the bottom of a bridge deck. So yeah, but that's my thought on the middle decline. The middle decline, we may be able to access more ore faster because I get the suspicion you have an ore chute like this in a vein, and there's not much here and there's not much here, and the decline comes down through it like this. So there's a possibility if we just start mining down vertically, starting at the bottom of the decline.
Mm-hmm.
My thought was actually doing like a zigzag, go to the bottom of the ore along the decline, the bottom of the decline, and then switch back and run a decline the other direction until we run out of ore. Then switch back again and come back the other way to try and determine the extents of the ore chute. And then, you know, just keep going down as long as you have to.
Right.
And that's kind of my idea. If it's going a long way and it's fairly vertical, you might put in a winds in there, and just bring it up the winds to the middle decline.
And out.
It's hard to tell. I don't think cables stay because there's no place to put anchors for the cable on the other side without being to Spider-Man it over there. But you got two vertical walls like this, so it'd be pretty easy to get above it in the middle decline and run stoles across, and then just work a platform across by, you know, you're at the edge of the platform with a rope, and you just, you know, reach out, dig some sockets, put in another stole, another timber, wedge it in place, and then advance your platform. And I think that would
that's what I was thinking, Chris, in the back of my mind, that zigzag thing. And I've seen it in mines where they did that, and then I'm sure they were bitching the whole time because the ore was worn out before you got it out of the hole.
No, I've got some plans on that, but by the time, if the ore is as wide as I think it is, every switchback should block out, well, let's see, roughly.
Hey, Smoking.
Hey, Smoking.
No, I got some things that I thought I'd, you know, being we're all going to hit the field here soon, I thought I'd bring up some tricks and evaluating an existing placer, you know, and some simple stuff that might just work for you guys out there in the field when we get there.
I think every switchback would probably block out about 1,000 tons of ore.
Yeah, probably.
Say, and
it doesn't take much.
Once it's blocked. Again, if you wanted to drop a winds,
then you can
along the near side
out of there, and
then you can, you know, above that, you're just sending it downhill to the skip. I have the skip. I don't know if you've seen it in the beluga there. Yeah, it's designed to take 4 buckets at once, and so all you're doing is moving buckets instead of loose ore. It go up to the surface, and then you can highline the buckets down to the.
Did you see
quad.
Jeff Williams' last video with the shaft?
They're spending a lot of time timbering that shaft. Man.
Oh man, it looked good though. They were, you know, lifting
nice.
Debris out of that thing, and I'm like, man, that's cool.
Well, you've seen my system. Can you see how it would have saved them a lot of earth moving?
Oh man, a lot of time.
A lot of earth moving.
You know.
Yep.
Part of it is, you know, there's very few people showing any of this in a video form or anything. So,
Chris,
it's neat.
The perpendicular vein, as we call it, is a lot softer than the wall rock in general. It should be pretty easy to sink through it. I don't see a big problem with that. The nice thing about the zigzag is you're finding the horizontal extents.
Right. You find the extent of the ore body.
And so that was kind of the idea of running the zigzag, is you're hitting one side and then the other and then the other. But once you've made your first zig, you could drop a winds if you wanted to and start mining the stuff above. Actually, I mean, I'm personally a big fan of what they call underhand stoping.
Right.
because stuff isn't falling on your head. You're stabilizing the ground above you as you go, so that wherever you're standing, you're not worried about above you. When you're what they call overhand stoping, where you're taking the roof down, it gets a little bit more problematic at times, especially if you don't have a jack leg, although we could get a jack leg. But I don't know, Ethan. Let's see. Mr. Lodak says no. Okay. We'll get another couple here pretty quick.
Hoping that doesn't happen tonight.
But like in the case of the, having a winds and then the zigzags, well, you could sit there and just run it downhill, to the next section of the winds without too much trouble at all. And
yeah, it's nice to drop your ore down.
Yeah, that's a nice thing.
A lot easier than shoveling it up.
And as you notice, my concept there is designed to go vertically too, with just a couple little additions there. So you could easily take your decline thing to a
drop straight down into your winds.
Yep. Wouldn't be a problem. So that's my hope, is that we find good ore at that section, because I can see they took the back in that area down. You can see where they hit the extents of their desirable grade, because all of a sudden the back comes down again, and it just the decline down there again. And based on my the assays, which of course I'm not allowed to discuss in detail, that's around the area where, if we can extract it relatively efficiently, economically, then that would be somewhere around our ore waste cutoff also. And we'll just have to see. Yeah, you could,
Chris. Yeah,
we'll just have to see. At the present time, the first zig, you wouldn't want to put the winds at the far end. You want to put it at the near high end, and the decline is already going down. So you start at the edge of the ore there and go this way, and then you could start your winds and start slicing this and throwing it into the winds if you wanted, and stolling as you go. Now that would probably be perfectly acceptable, just stoles, because you're talking vertical walls, shallow depths. I mean, this isn't deep rock. This is only 100 feet under surface, 150 feet under surface, and pretty competent rock structure. That would give you pretty good wall if you cleaned it pretty good to the good competent wall rock there. So I think that would be the simplest way to do that. And then as you work that down, yeah, it's not a bad idea, Chris, because then you could start, if you start at the other end and this, and as you go down, you're just moving stuff out. That wouldn't be too bad either.
I wouldn't think, once you come off of there, like you say, even if you have to take out a section there to get rid of that.
Yeah, because then you just be taking the stope from waist to waist.
Right.
With kind of a horizontal
You'd limit your
surface
waste. You'd limit, how much waste rock you're taking out and trying to stay on the ore body.
Yeah. And I would say you'd probably want to put a deck every, 15 feet or something. Let's suppose
a lot of these old mines I've been in, they've been about 12-foot decks as they.
That way, if anything falls off, it doesn't.
It stops there, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't.
It doesn't keep falling down the stope until it knocks out the canal. This is vertical stope. It ain't going to roll along the footwall. It's going to just fall straight.
Yeah.
And if you just had a bunch of stalls, it'd be more like a Plinko game.
Kind of, right. Well, you hear it coming too. You have a little warning, you can hear it coming. It's got things that bounce off of.
Yeah, but I mean,
slow down.
You could have a series of stalls, then another series of stalls with a decking on it of some sort.
Yeah.
And it could be even mesh or something. It could be. one thing about mesh is it'll absorb an impact.
Yep.
If you had,
Yeah, it's a
if
spring.
you were to do, say, plywood, say 3/4 plywood, that's going to get pretty expensive nowadays.
Yeah, right now that's not on the table.
You know,
Sheet steel would be cheaper than the plywood.
and so you want it so that if you had like
Yeah,
2 sets of stalls,
I agree, Chris. I think that's what
then
they went for.
You want it over your head so that you're not whacking your head.
Chris was saying they did 12 foot to get 10 foot of clear deck, and I think that's really kind of what they did.
Yeah, chain link would work because this stove is only gonna be like 4 foot wide, so you could use 5 or 6 foot chain link. And what would also be good would be to rock bolt it to the walls.
Yep.
And that would be helpful too.
Give you safety. Safety is important.
Yeah, and the negative with chain link is it's got a fairly large gap, so you could have a 2 or 3 inch rock coming through.
Down in your head.
But you could have what you might call, you could put a solid deck in like every third one or something, you know.
To my Wi-Fi now. Well, that's good, Ethan, that you figured it out.
Another thing you could do too is you could use the chain link on every deck or every other deck, but then have a series of plywood that you lay down just above you,
where you're working.
You know,
immediate
just
safety.
above. And once you've cleared that out and you're ready to put in the next deck, then you just bring it in and set it on top and go down there. And that way things have got to come through the chain link and then hit the plywood.
Yep.
And so that'll slow anything big down to some extent.
Yeah.
One would hope.
It's just safety is a big concern.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you definitely want something. But that's my thought. If there's enough ore there, if the value is such and the cost of extraction and all the ancillary stuff is such that we can get away with it, then yeah, we might have an ore chute that goes down quite a ways. For all you know, we might eventually get to secondary enrichment or something too.
Right. Get into the good stuff.
This is heavily oxidized.
Yeah, get out of the oxides into the sulfides.
3x8s.
That can change everything.
It could be. We'd have to see at the time what it is, but yeah, 3x12s are kind of nice too. The 3x8s are a little easier to handle, but you can also double 2x. Put 2x12s in there and then put plywood on top to just distribute the impact load and break up the stuff. But I mean, as you set your stalls, if you're planning to put a deck in there, you can kind of notch the walls to keep a pretty straight line so that when you put your deck in, it's like, okay, we're going to be using, let's say 2x12s. And the stope width is less than 4 feet. Then you notch it to about 4'2", and you put your planks in there and then you lay your plywood in. And now you've got a really nice deck there to protect your head. You go dig down further, and as you're going, if you take it out, say the last 6 feet, if you take it out in like 3-foot lifts, on your first lift, you're notching the wall as you go, putting in your sockets
So
for your stalls.
Prepared for your advancement.
And then when it comes time, as you're taking the next lift out, then you can be putting stuff overhead as you advance, and it'll all be reasonable heights to lift. So, you get to the end of your lift, climb up on top, put another stole in there, jump back down, start moving your lift further on, and like that.
Yeah, your advancement. You're preparing your advancement.
Oh, I would think it would work. I think that something like that could be very useful if you had a need for it. One of the things that they did in the old mines that had 2 purposes. was they would always go slightly uphill as
1
they
degree.
drove the tunnel.
Yeah, 1 degree.
And the purpose of that, number one, it always provides drainage. The water always runs out.
At it.
But the other thing is you're pushing the empty car uphill and the
one
full
rolls
car
out.
downhill. And
They did that in most of them.
yeah, gravity works.
You know,
Let's see. Yeah, and where Chris is at, it can get pretty wet over there.
Yes.
So far, I haven't run into much water in the mines here.
If you get into deeper mines here, you can run into a lot of water.
Mhm.
But a majority of them, really, a lot of these adits were that. They were 1% grade. So literally, even if there was water coming out of a wall, it runs through, you know, between the rails and down and out of the mine. So you had no water, really, short of enough to maybe save some to use in your drill, you know, recover some water out at the portal.
Well, you know what a piss ditch is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what they, you know.
We had those where I used to work at
Along the
United
rail
Nuclear,
or down the
along the rail.
Along the rail.
On the side there. We were 1,000 feet below the water table.
Yeah.
We were at 1,500 and 1,700 feet. And to de-water it ahead of us, they had long haul drillers drilling 500-foot drain holes, just fan drilling way ahead of us there to drain the water.
Just let it run.
And then let it run down the ditch. And I don't know how much we pumped per day, but probably had 4 inches of water, 12 inches of wide at a good clip.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing, I don't know, I think that'd be 10,000 gallons an hour or something.
Well, probably.
Yeah. And that was just one level. The other level is the same thing. We had 100 horsepower pumps, just submersible pumps, just for tickles and stuff.
Well, they had some mines. I know over here in the phosphate mines over to the west here, that one, they were pumping so much water up out of that mine that somebody actually at one point filed water rights on the water for agricultural purposes.
Yeah.
Which, that was a good way to
Hell, you got fertilizer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was, you know, good water, and they were pumping it for egg, but they actually put a water right on it that they claimed the water coming from the mine.
Yeah.
So, you know, so there's, I don't know, there's interesting ways to do things sometimes. There's collaboration between parties.
There's definitely mines around here where they sank down to where they were having
Oh yeah,
real trouble.
no, there was